collision of black holes, the idea that you can detect that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. The first paper they published, there are two black holes and they were about 30 times the mass of the sun each. And they were orbiting each other and spiraling in towards each other. And they accelerated. At one point, they were approaching each other at 1/3 the speed of light. And they accelerated to 2/3 the speed of light in 1/10 of a second and then hit each other. And the explosion, the energy release was, I think I'm right, it was something like 50 times the energy release, that the power of all the stars in the observable universe glowing. And it was something like 50 times that amount of energy for a tiny fraction of a second. But it's an unimaginably violent event. And that's why our detectors can see the ripples that makes in space and time. And we detected, I can't remember, it's 2 or 3 of them now, and also 2 neutron stars colliding. We saw that as well with it. So it's an incredible machine, which is why it got the Nobel Prize.
Now, there's a supermassive black hole at the center of every galaxy.
Yeah.
But there's also other black holes that aren't necessarily in the center of galaxies.
Yeah, so these little ones were little,
Little.
they're a few times the mass of the sun, and they're from collapsed stars. So they are stars at the end of their life, very bigger than the sun, more massive than the sun, but they run out of their fuel and they start to collapse because gravity squashes them. And if they're sufficiently massive, then there's nothing that can stop the collapse. And so they collapse, as far as we know, to a point, right? And essentially an infinitely dense point. We don't really know what happens we don't know what happens right in the middle. But they collapse to such an extent that there's a region around it from which light can't escape. And so nothing can escape. And that's a black hole.
And what happens to them? Do they travel? Are they moving through space?
Yeah, they're still stars,
right?
So they're still there. They're surrounded this region where if you fall in, it's called the event horizon, and if you go across that horizon, then you are going to the center. There's one way of thinking about it, which is quite cool, which is that the time and space sort of flip is one way to think about it. So in the same way that we are going into the future now. So we're going to tomorrow. There's nothing we can do about it. We are going to tomorrow. In the same way, if you fall in across the event horizon of a black hole, you are going to the middle, the singularity it's called. So that's your future. Every line of your future points to the center of the black hole. So it's kind of the ultimate of no escape, the ultimate prison. You're going to get squashed to an infinitely dense point.